I want to start with this, that JJ McCarthy has a knee issue. I always liked when coaches go like, JJ McCarthy's got a knee. Well, we're aware he has a knee, but okay. Now, JJ McCarthy has a knee injury. He's set for knee surgery. Okay, that will cement Sam Darnold as the starter. Okay, he tore his meniscus, and those of us who know anything about meniscal tears, and even those of us who don't, know that the meniscus, you can go in and have that thing trimmed up, or if it's a significant tear and they have to go and stitch it up, you go from could be back in 2 weeks to be back in 6-7 weeks, and of course, as a rookie, the last thing they want to do is rush it back. I'm guessing he's not back for a couple months. They're not taking out the meniscus unless it's a massive tear, especially as young as he is, but they don't want to have this being a reoccurring problem. So that means Sam Darnold becomes the starter. And if you've listened to this show long enough, you know that I am, and I will give credit to Daniel Jeremiah and to Colin Cowherd, both of whom are also stockholders in Sam Darnold LLC. Right? We're riding this thing out. It's become a penny stock, but we're going to ride it out. He's now 27 years old. It's crazy, right? Did play in 10 games last year, and he was fine. 2 years ago in Carolina, got off to a hot start, and then Christian McCaffrey got hurt, and his season and their season fell apart. The following season, he was replaced midseason. For his career, 63 touchdowns, 56 interceptions. He's played in 66 games. It is journeyman type of numbers after being the vaunted number 3 pick of the New York Jets back when they selected him. Same year that Lamar Jackson came out, and he's just won 2 MVPs since. But to those of you who, look, you got to be realistic. Some guys are so good, it doesn't matter. But even when you think it doesn't matter, it does matter. And by what doesn't, I mean surrounding team, coaching staff, etc. There are times and teams that you can get drafted onto where you never have a chance. And that is what the Jets felt like. Now, does it mean that he's all fixed and all ready to go and he's back to being the player that we thought he could be as the prospect? No, it doesn't. It's really hard. But this is where I can give you true perspective in that when you're coaching college basketball, for example, we take transfers and we're a lower level mid-major program. Okay? We take transfers who they've lost their self-confidence. Now, Darnold got to play and didn't play well, and some of that is on him. But again, the realist says the general manager wasn't good, the team wasn't good, the offensive line wasn't good, he had no weapons, and oh yeah, by the way, most people are not fans of Adam Gase, especially for a young quarterback. Now, it's also fair to say that Adam Gase had some success in Miami and had a lot of success in Denver working with Peyton Manning, but then again, was it Peyton Manning or was it Adam Gase? Regardless of which, it felt like no matter who the Jets took, they weren't succeeding. Right? They just weren't because of all those other issues. Now, maybe it should have happened with Carolina, but again, to be honest, Carolina wasn't very good. Then Christian McCaffrey got hurt, and they really weren't good. And as a backup last year in San Francisco, his job was just come in and not lose the game or not lose the ball and just do backup stuff. But this would be Warner-like. Remember, Kurt Warner, we think of, obviously, the story of him, working in a grocery store, stocking shelves. But we forget that after the initial success and MVP of the St. Louis Rams, he was terrible with the New York Giants, and then a backup with the Arizona Cardinals before Matt Leinart got hurt, and then ultimately he beat out Matt Leinart. And go back and look at it. There's other quote. Vinny Testaverde was awful with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Heck, Steve Young was bad with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then years later became an MVP with the San Francisco 49ers. It's not that I have MVP aspirations for Sam Darnold, but he's playing in a similar system to the one he played in San Francisco. His head coach is, in fact, a former quarterback. He has Justin Jefferson and legit weapons, and he's playing indoors and all the things that you need to be successful and limited to no expectations. This is one of those, it's not because I hope I'm right, but it doesn't hurt that I do hope I'm right. This is it. This is Custer's last stand. This is the last of the Mohicans. This is all you get. You can't get a better spot than a runway of 6, 7, 8, maybe even half the season of weeks to prove that you can be a starting quarterback in the NFL. Because if you're good, they just say, yeah, JJ McCarthy, we're going to sit on his knee for a year. And if you're not, they rush him back or they cycle through guys. And Darnold had that, we thought, that it factor. Everybody always liked him. Found a way to make plays. Remember when he was great with USC, that was with the previous coaching staff, which most people thought was kind of a mess. He was the ultimate stabilizing thing. I can't think of a more interesting player out there, and it came to the forefront with JJ McCarthy needing surgery on his knee, and once you hear it's meniscus, you know what the end all is going to be. Even if it's just a trim, they're going to hold him. They're going to hold him out much longer than they need to. This is Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell.
As we talked about yesterday, coming in with some soreness a couple days after the game, I credit JJ for obviously being able to continue to play. He did not come out of the game from the injury. We don't know the severity yet, and that is honestly where we're at right now. And I think we're hopefully having a shorter timeline than a longer timeline, but the potential severity will come when we, do that procedure. And, Sam's had a really good camp, and my confidence level in Sam is very, very high at this point, and looking forward to seeing him continue his progression. And I know his teammates and the rest of the coaching staff have been really enthused by what Sam's done. And like I said, my confidence level is really high in Sam.
Doug Gottlieb Show here on Fox Sports Radio. That's the voice of Kevin O'Connell. DraftKings has many ways to play fantasy football, from playing weekly contests to the newest game from DraftKings Pick 6. And speaking of fantasy football, the Vikings fantasy football players will be interesting to watch this season. Kirk Cousins was their quarterback, right? Now it's Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold has Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, with former Packers running back Aaron Jones is also in the mix. It should be really interesting to see if they can maintain their productiveness with Sam Darnold at the helm. Look, that's a team. Last year, Kevin O'Connell, as the head coach, Kirk Cousins was going to throw for 6,000 yards. If there's ever a spot for Sam Darnold to live up to his lofty potential, this is it. So the Vikings, I don't know, I know I picked them higher than everybody else did in that division. Some of it was tongue-in-cheek because I just, when you're in Green Bay, you're not really supposed to say nice things about the Bears. You're just not. But I don't know. Why am I a buyer into this Vikings thing? Is it just the Sam Darnold deal? And have you ever had a guy where you're just so convinced he's going to be good and he's not good, and no matter how much the league and everybody tells you, yeah, he's more of a backup, you're like, no, I swear to God, it's a hill that I have died 10 deaths on. But something tells me this is the one. Right? All you can ever hope for when you're a quarterback is to play for another quarterback. That's it. That's all you can ever hope for. All you can ever hope for. Just give me one shot. Right? Don't you hate it when your fantasy football season is over before it started? Like your running back tears his ACL, your quarterback is, well, in this particular case, he's got a meniscal tear, or he's just out to lunch this year. Well, don't worry. You can go without suffering through some ridiculous last place punishment from your friends, because DraftKings has so many ways to play fantasy football. So every week is like a whole new season, from playing weekly contests for your share of millions in the newest game to DraftKings Pick 6. More ways to play with fantasy on DraftKings means more ways to win. DraftKings, we get you, so we got that. The crown is yours.